With 3.5 coming to an end, I think we can all agree that the character we got aren't really that good. And I wanted to share my perspective on why that might be. First of all, why are they weak? The main problem is the numbers, they are simply too low. Let's start with Dehya, and I'm gonna compare her offensive capabilities to Diluc, since they have a lot in common. At C0 on the surface they have similar multiplier, but Dehya falls behind, because she doesn't have any way to increase her damage in her kit, while Diluc have better uptime, a passive that increases pyro damage, and a crit rate ascension stat. And most importantly, he has access to one of, if not the best unit in the game, Xingqiu. Of course, Dehya have defensive utilities, and I'm gonna talk about that later. For now, let's talk about Mika. While Dehya is mediocre as a DPS, I personally think Mika is okay physical DPS support. It's just comparatively to the other element specific supports we got, damage supporting wise he also falls short. But just like Dehya, Mika trade off some of her offensive utilities for defensive ones. In his case, he fills the role of a healer. Now that we are done with the weaknesses, let's talk about the main advantages that come with playing them. Dehya provides damage reduction and high resistance to interruption, while Mika provides attack speed. And now we can talk about the main point of this video, one which for some reason no one is talking about. These abilities are really hard to combine in the game. Most of the attack speed buffs only affect the caster, and the few of them that are team-wide buffs are locked behind high cost bursts and high constellation. Only two other characters aside from Mika provide easy to access attack speed buffs, Jin and Chongyun. In Jin's case it's locked behind C2, and I wouldn't even consider Chongyun since his buff is so low and it only affects melee characters, on top of infusing their attacks with cryo, which we don't want in most scenarios. And for team-wide damage reduction and resistance to interruption buffs, it's even rarer. Here's the list. That's it. Literally only character from 1.0, and they need their ult to provide it long term. If we consider only damage reduction, we also got C6 Jin. Well, good luck with that. And for resistance to interruption, we got Goro, that forces us to use really restrictive team building. I think the ease to access of these buffs have value in itself. Does it justify Hoyo for making these characters baseline really weak? Honestly, it depends. We've seen multiple times that Hoyo buffs characters indirectly, and if they introduce mechanics that encourages us to use these buffs, like maybe enemies that deal a lot of damage by sacrificing a bit of their HP, or enemy that slow us down with cryo or other debuffs. Look, maybe I'm just coping, but I think it's too soon to judge the newest character we got, and I really think Hoyo is trying out new stuff in terms of kit development, and they may have undertuned these characters a bit in fear of breaking the game in the future. And it also feels like they are trying to make these buffs feel more meaningful. So I don't know, do you guys think they have more plans for Dehya and Mika in the future? Or did Hoyo simply just fucked up the balance this time around? Cause if they don't make playing Dehya and Mika feel better within the next 2 or 3 patch, I will be the first one to say they mess up with these characters. Please let's be civil in the comments and have a nice day.